welcome or welcome back to Novel iDeea. My name is Deea, and today I have a tag. Not very often that I do these anymore. I just don't usually have the time, but my husband is out of the house today, or out of the apartment, and I have to leave in just a little while. So I was already made up. And so I thought that I would go ahead and do a quick tag because I've had several people tag me even though I don't do these very often anymore. So I have no hope of ever catching up, but I did want to do one that was real quick. So Shelley Swearingen, a little while back, had a tag that she created or weaponized from a video about big books that she did, about the mammoths that are worth your time. And she did it because somebody contacted her very late at night and said, hey, you need to weaponize that. And so I have 4. She said to do at least 3. Went ahead with one extra one just because one of these doesn't quite make the mammoth mark. But she had one of those as well. So without further ado, let's jump in and get to this tag. So one of the ones that I think is well worth the page count and doesn't quite reach the mammoth mark is Herodotus The Histories. This is a romp of a time, and it reads so easy, at least this translation does. This is the Penguin Classics, and it is translated by Aubrey de Selincourt, and I thought it was fabulous. He is snarky, he is funny, outright laugh out loud, funny at times. So this is the Greeks and all of the different states of the Greek Empire kind of coming together to finally rid themselves of the Persians. Prussians or Persians. And he goes through all of that and gives you that. But then he interweaves all of these other little, what feel like absolutely ridiculous stories. But he does it in a way that makes it relevant to what you're reading. And I just thought it was wonderful. I absolutely loved this. So Herodotus The Histories is 785 pages. So we're almost there. We're just not quite there. Kristin Lavransdatter by Sigrid Undset. This is translated, my copy is translated by Charles Archer and J.S. Scott. So, however, there is a newer translation out there. I think that when I was reading this with Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia, we buddy read this together last year. We took 3 months to do it. We did 1 book per month. It's made up of 3 books. And we decided that mine was a little bit more scrubbed, or a little more, I don't want to say aesthetic, but antiseptic. That's the word I was looking for. A little more antiseptic maybe, as far as some of the things that go on in the book. However, I appreciated it, and I thought that it was still really, really well translated. So whether you have an old copy or a new copy, we meet Kristen at a very young age. I think she's 5 or 6 when the book opens. And we follow her through her youth and just that rebellious stage that a lot of youths go through, and the outcome throughout the rest of her life of that rebellion that she goes through, and what her decisions mean. And it's about family, and it's about it's got a little political drama in it as well. I cared more about the relationships and the way that there was this inner struggle and everything. Oh, it was so good. I will say that after book 1, if I had not been buddy reading it, I probably would have DNF'd it, but I am so thankful I did not, because it ended up being one of my favorites of the year. All right, another one, The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. This is huge. Oh, I didn't tell you how many pages this was, did I? It is 1,047 pages for this one. This one is 842 pages. So this one is just over. This is told in kind of a mixed media sort of format, very much a prose book, but there are letters, there are journals, there are articles that are referenced in the prose. And so this is almost like an alternative history, or the history of who might be responsible for the myth of Dracula. And so it's about vampires, or a vampire in particular, and about the undead, but it's also about relationship and passing something down through generations and tradition, and it is a love story as well as much more history. And so I thought it was wonderful. It says, "My dear and unfortunate successor, it is with regret that I imagine you, wherever you are, reading the account that I must put down here. The regret is partly for myself, because I will surely be at least in trouble, maybe dead, or perhaps worse, if this is in your hands. But my regret is also for you, my yet unknown friend." Mystery, it's just so good. It's so good. Suspense, a little bit of a thriller. I think it's fabulous. So I think that's well worth your time. Lastly, we have Plutarch's Lives. Now, this is in 2 volumes, but it was originally a single book. So, Plutarch's Lives is Plutarch taking a Greek and a Roman who he has somehow made a connection between, and he compares the lives of those two through the lens of connection that he has made. And again, absolutely a joy to read. It was so funny, and it was just a ride to read some of the things that he had to say about these Greeks and Romans. You can definitely tell who he respected and who he did not. So it says, Plutarch's Lives, written at the beginning of the 2nd century AD, is a brilliant social history of the ancient world by one of the greatest biographers and moralists of the time. And I think that's just perfect for what it says. This is, again, in 2 volumes. Let me see if I can give you a number. So this one is 755 pages, and this one is 696 pages. So together, they definitely are a mammoth. And a mammoth that you will not realize is a mammoth. Made my top books of the year as well, the year that I read them. I think that is my recommendations. I had so many others that I could have done, but I think so many people have done this by now that I tried to do some that maybe weren't on other people's radar. So hopefully that will give Shelley a little bit of a respite from from midnight phone calls or 1 a.m. phone calls. So yes, thank you, Shelley, for tagging me, by the way, and I hope that you enjoyed this. So thank you for joining me, and I am going to go put these back on my shelves, and I'm going to head out the door. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye-bye.